Hey Steve, we're gonna go and break down your clips. I read your bio. I've honestly recorded this a couple of times now, but having some mic trouble, so we're gonna give it one more go. uh, Starting here with your straight air. Your straight air is pretty solid. There's one thing I'd want you to do to improve it, and that is utilizing your tail more. Right now, you're doing a bit of a two-footed pop, but it's making you leave the takeoff before your tail snaps off the end. This results in you not going and perfectly matching the trajectory of the arc. That's why you're needing to let go of the grab early to reshift your momentum downhill. So to fix that, what you want to do is do this pop, but make sure your weight is then centered over your back foot so you're making as much contact with the takeoff as possible, hopefully leaving off the takeoff with your tail being the last thing touching. To do this, shift your weight from being a straight up stack position to leaving slightly off your back foot. That's going to go and pop you up and make you match the arc of a jump a lot better. But other than that, that's super solid. For back three here, your biggest issue is your setup carve. Notice how you're not really doing one. You're just sort of going toe edge and then holding it with a very wound up position. This is a very hard position to hold. So you want to delay this. You want to be only getting on your toe edge around here. So start transitioning from your heels to your toes here. And as you transition to your toes, that's when you wind up. Because the longer you hold this position on your toe edge, the harder it's going to be to leave straight. That's your main issue here. You're turning off the jump and pre-spinning. So you're leaving the jump almost completely 90 degrees rotated and super edge heavy. This is what's making it so you don't get any pop up the jump and you're going through the jump, making rotation really hard to finesse and just snaggle. The other thing is you're blocking yourself with your back arm. Your back arm is getting in the way instead of leading the rotation. I will demonstrate what you want to be doing in a second, but that's something else you want to really take note of. For your front free here, your takeoff is a lot better. Wind up timing, you're still winding up a little bit early. Notice how you're holding this position for a really long time before using it. And then you're snapping and holding the snap position too long. Well, not holding it too long, doing it a little bit too early, making you hold this position longer than you want to. So what's happening because of that is you don't have momentum, making you need to utilize this counter rotation to get it around. So just go and delay your snap a little bit, and that's going to give you a lot more rotational force because the takeoff other than that is money. Notice how straight and tall and how your timing is working together. You want your backside spins to be a lot more like this with the timing and the straightness of the board. But the big issue you're having here with your frontside spins, and this is probably why they feel gnarly to land, is you're spotting over your shoulder. Look at how your eyes are looking around your arm instead of down in front of you under the arm. That is making it so you're blind, then going into a blind landing. Very hard to land from that. We'll go and break that down in a second, and I'll demonstrate what to do. Your backboard here, it's pretty simple. It's going wrong here and very common. First of all, your angle of approach is too angled. So that's why you're hitting your front foot and sliding to your back foot. What happens on a rail is it's a slippery surface, so you can't go and change your trajectory on the feature. So if you come into the rail with a bunch of sideways momentum, it's going to carry on through the feature. It stops because this rail looks sticky, but it's already done enough to compromise your backboard and make you lose your counter-rotated 90 position. So to fix this, you want to make sure you're leaving off your tail and getting more up and over onto the rail. So you're not going and jumping as far across and more up, leading onto it in a more direct path. I'm going to stop the share here and demonstrate a little bit of what I mean. Start with the backboard. Right now, you're very much coming into it and jumping like this onto it. What's going to go and make you drift across a feature. What you want to be doing is setting your weight over top of a rail with your edge approach, leaving off your tail and coming in up and down like this. This is going to make it so your momentum's coming straight down onto a feature, letting you lock in a lot easier. Because right now you're coming across and shifting you and making you uncomfortable, making you go to regular. So focus on getting more straight up and down onto a feature, and that's going to really help. For the backside spin, delay your setup carve for sure. Make sure, don't wind up as much. You don't need that much wind up. This, like a little bit of wind up like this is all you need. But notice how I'm actually getting my hips engaged, getting everything tall in line instead of just trying to go tall and wind up like this. This is a bit compromised of position, so don't do it that dramatic. But your biggest issue with the back three is just going and getting on that toe edge too early, holding it. And the longer you hold this, the more you're going to be falling down over the feature. So go and delay how much time you're on your toe edge by going and delaying when you're doing your setup carve. Only getting to your toes as you go through the spoon of the jump. The next thing is when you're snapping it, you're letting your back arm come across your body, blocking your rotation. You want to be leading with that back arm. So you're snapping, leading with that back arm all the way around. I'll demonstrate switch 2. So instead of going in and letting your arm like block you, getting sort of blocked up, throwing you off balance, making you tall, unstable, you want to be coming in, leading for rotation of your upper body, leading with that back arm, pulling the elbow across, boom, pulling into the landing. And the last thing for a front freeze is currently you're going and spotting over your shoulder like this. Then trying to hit the blind landing. So it's a super blind rotation. What you want to be doing on a front side spin is looking at a point in front of you, keeping your spot under your arm. So you're under your arm, tracking it the whole way. That's how you go and get the constant spot on a front free. That's really important for landing it. You can practice that just by going on snow and walking around the point and just trying to keep your eyes locked on it. Finishing as you pass it with your eyes looking back uphill at it. But that's like something you should keep working on. The most important thing for you is making sure you're not spotting over your shoulder because that's blind, and making sure you're spotting under your armpit. Under your armpit, keeping your eyes tracked on the same spot, passing it as you finish in blind landing. That's going to really help make the front free a lot easier to spot and control, and it will make it feel so much better. So go and implement those things. A straighter pop-up, getting you more on top of the rail with less sideways momentum. A more delayed backside spin setup, and making sure you're not going and pre-spinning off that jump, leaving off that tail, getting more rotation. We always want to be leaving off our tail, and making sure you're not spotting over the shoulder on frontside 360s. Those will really help you out. So implement them and let me know how it goes.